Joe Biden's incoherent babbling, Trump's wily, witty, and strong character assertion. What we can probably expect in the first presidential debate of 2020. I'm Kevin McIntyre, and you're listening to episode 6 of the Podfather Show. Well, the day is finally here. In just a few short hours, we will be listening to the first presidential debate of 2020 for the 2020 elections between current President Trump and presidential hopeful Joe Biden. Unless, of course, Nancy Pelosi has her way with it. As you've probably heard by now, she has once again reiterated her claim or desire that there should not be a presidential debate. She has gone on record again for the second time, stating that she thinks that the debate should more or less be canceled. I mean, I don't believe she's come right out and said they should be canceled. But if you don't think there should be a debate, that's effectively what it is that you're suggesting, is that they be canceled. While she ironically is claiming that Trump is the one that has gone against tradition with, the elections and stuff, like with the whole refusing to concede thing, which is a whole nother topic all in itself. But it's not unlike Nancy or the Democrats to contradict themselves and, become the very thing that it is that they're pointing fingers at and about. But hopefully she won't have much bearing on this. As of now, the debate is just a few hours away. We're going to be all tuning into that. There's expected to be something like 84 million viewers or something like that worldwide, which could potentially break records from the 2016 election between President Trump and Hillary Clinton. She's already absent from my mind. But the election will take place in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Case Western Reserve University tonight on September 29th, 2020. The debate is expected to be somewhere around 90 minutes long, the entire program, with 6 15-minute segments, in each segment discussing the various topics for the debate for this year, which, like with any other election year, those topics are centered around issues our country is facing today. And we all know what those are. But what I'd like to address tonight is what's on all of our minds. Where's this debate going to go? Is Biden really going to show up? Because he's kind of gone, missing in action. He's MIA ever since, the trip to Wisconsin. He's been kind of out of sight, out of mind. So that's leaving many would wonder, is he going to cancel at the last minute? His campaign staff has said numerous times, however, that he's preparing for the debate. I don't know anybody that has ever prepared for a debate that long, though. However, if you are suffering from cognitive decline or dementia, it could take, 10 days, 14 days, or even longer to successfully prepare for a debate. And no amount of preparation could possibly prepare him going up against, President Trump. It's no secret that Trump is a master businessman, and a part of being a master businessman includes debate and negotiations. Negotiations go hand in hand with debating, something that he's clearly good at. And we'd all seen that in 2016 when he went up against Hillary Clinton. He's very witty. He's wily. He can think on his feet, and he can respond instantly without having delay for, trying to find the right words. Yeah, it's something that we hope to see again in this next coming debate, is Trump carry those character personality traits over into this one, which no doubt he will. But what I would really like to see is a clean and precise debate, something that doesn't get too far off track, and I don't think we're going to have that. I think we'll see more elevated bias towards Trump, but it will be significantly amplified from what we've heard and seen in the 2016 election and what we've all witnessed over the last 4 years. I think that we're going to see a lot more bias towards him. And if you pay attention to some of the debate questions and the way, sometimes, yeah, the debate questions are what they are. But as we all know, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you deliver it that can change the meaning of things that are being said. I think that we're going to see a lot of that in the debate tonight and the first presidential debate. I think the bias that the left has is really going to show through. If you pay attention to the questions, pay attention to the way they're delivered to Joe Biden and the way that they're delivered to President Trump. And I mean, I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. If I thought I was going to be wrong, I wouldn't be saying this right here, right now. But I think we're really going to see the clear personal agenda, the attacks and hatred that the left has coming out and trying to make President Trump look bad through the questioning. And the reason I say this is the moderator for the first presidential debate is going to be Chris Wallace. And he's a Democrat. And Chris Wallace actually has publicly prided himself on his ability to irritate those whom he interviews and or questions. I mean, that's a self-bragging point that he has about himself. He's very proud of, I mean, these are his words. These are his words. I mean, I researched him before this podcast show and everything, and some of the information I had found is the statements that he's made. I mean, he actually says, pride, he's very prideful on his ability to irritate those whom he questions or interviews. It's kind of sick and twisted if you think about it. Of all the things to be proud about as an interviewer or a moderator, is your ability to irritate the interviewee. Might be one of the reasons why he was selected in the first place to be the moderator for the first presidential debate, because of his ability to do this. And he's apparently so good at this that even liberal pundits have complained about his ability to do this and his choice of topics, which will include race and violence in the cities and the integrity of the U.S. elections, which we all know are hot points. So those are hot button issues for President Trump. Race and violence in the cities. I mean, he's constantly being accused of being racist. That's one thing that the left has accused him of many things over the last 4 years. But one thing that has been interwoven throughout all these accusations is racist, and without any evidence of such. But I find all these pieces of the puzzle fitting together with Chris Wallace and his own prideful boastings on the ability to irritate people, and the first presidential debate topics. All of them seem to be hot button issues for Trump. None of these seem to be hot button issues for Biden. Coincidence? I mean, none of the debate topics are about gun control or, healthcare or any of those things, things that are hot button issues for Biden. The debate topics here, are Trump and Biden's records. That's the number one debate topic for apparently the first segment. I don't even know what that could mean. There are records. And how I got this, let me back up a little bit. How I got this is it's actually been, it's not leaked. That's not the right word, but it's actually been released intentionally and knowingly released without trying to hide it, what the topics are going to be in advance. Now, the left is saying that this was done so that there can be a fair and precise and meaningful debate with well thought out and deliberated conversation and viewpoints. Man, that's a great argument for this. It is. Bravo, bravo. All right. But you and I know better. You and I know the reason why these debate topics were released ahead of time is because Joe Biden suffers with cognitive decline, possibly dementia, and they wanted him to be prepared as possible. Because you can't stick somebody on a debate stage in front of a live camera with no preparation when that person has dementia and cognitive decline and expect them to successfully hold their own while debating a master negotiator and businessman in front of the world. And that person come out looking good. It can't happen. It won't happen. It goes against the laws of physics and everything that we know as humans. So the only way that they can give Joe Biden a chance is by releasing these debate topics in advance. And those debate topics, I'm going to go over the list here now. And you'll see these are indeed hot button issues for Trump. And I believe it's by design. But the Trump and Biden records. Now, I'm going to guess that this is going to be a roasting event. The first segment is going to be more of a roasting segment for Trump. And I think this is where we're going to see a lot of the bias. They're not going to make Biden look bad. You're not going to stick somebody like Chris Wallace, who is a Democrat, who has openly expressed his dislike for Trump, whose father was a high-ranking executive for CBS, which is an extremely leftist-leaning media outlet. You're not going to take someone like him and expect him to make Biden look as equally bad. So this first segment here, their records, I can only guess that they're going to use this as a segment, a 15-minute segment, 7.5 minutes each. I'm going to guess Trump ends up getting much closer to 8 to 9 minutes of that 15 minutes, showered upon him. We'll see, but pay attention, watch the clocks, because I bet I'm right. So during that time, I'm going to guess that they're probably going to bring up his taxes again. It's recently been released, something about how Trump supposedly only paid $750 in taxes in 2016 and 2017. I find it a little bit difficult to believe that he paid the exact same amount of taxes 2 years in a row. I think there's probably more to that. And just like everything else that the Democrats do, they throw a little bit of salt and sugar on stuff and they cherry pick the pieces off that they want. And that's the information that they present us with. So I'm just simply not going to take that for face value. But even if that were true, there's nothing illegal about it. Am I mad that Trump is smart enough to only pay $750 in taxes? I mean, that's kind of my fault for not being as smart as he is. That's not his fault. I mean, when you're that rich, of course you want to protect your money, but they're going to use this to make him look bad. They're not going to go into a lot about Biden's records. I mean, just accept that fact now. Second segment's going to be about the Supreme Court. I have a feeling this was all thrown together at the last minute. What could possibly be a hot topic for a segment in a presidential debate about the Supreme Court on any other given election? But right now, our country is facing the whole, the RBG, the having died, rest in peace, and, Trump's new designate and everything for filling that seat. And of course, the Democrats have lost their freaking minds again about this. So I think we're going to see some of that brought up. And although the lady obviously has the credentials to do so, to fill that seat, and her love and appreciation and respect for the United States Constitution alone, glorifies or expounds those credentials. Democrats don't look at that. They just don't. So I think we're going to see a little bit of attack in that area as well, too. I don't see a whole lot of topic of the whole Supreme Court issues being something that can that a just and fair and equally balanced question can be delivered to Biden during those debates or during the debate. There's nothing there that would be a hot topic for. I could be wrong. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a interview out there, a statement out there, a video out there of Biden that I've missed. I've watched a lot of them, but of course there could be one that I missed. So I may even be surprised come tonight when we're watching this. Next topic is going to be COVID-19. There's going to be another 15-minute segment about COVID-19. And of course, Biden's going to be given an opportunity to talk about all the things he woulda, coulda, and Trump shoulda done. But all of that's speculative. There's no proof to any of it. Biden can say he could have done this. He would have done that. Trump should have done this. Everything that will come out of Biden's mouth about COVID-19 is speculation. Period. There's nothing he can possibly say that would be definitive or factual as in the lines of, hey, this would have worked. It can't be proven that would have worked. The Democrats know this. But the Democrats also know that the Democrat followers don't know this. And even if they do, they look the other way to it. Just another opportunity to make Trump look bad. COVID got out of hand, but hey, in Trump's defense, the man wanted to close travel with China nearly a year, several months in advance before COVID it was even a thing. They didn't want him to do that. He was called racist. But if they would have just let the man alone and let him do his job, it's possible COVID could have just skipped over the top of the United States like a smooth rock across a still pond. But no, because Democrats are all over Trump like heartburn caused from swallowing a lithium battery. He wasn't given the opportunity or the fair chance to fight COVID-19 the way he probably should have, but most definitely could have. Because no matter what Trump does, it's wrong in the eyes of the Democrats. There's nothing he could have done to fight COVID-19 that the Democrats wouldn't have badmouthed, ridiculed, slandered, and found something wrong with. Even if he would have found a cure himself for COVID-19, the Democrats would have had something bad to say about that too. The next topic for the debate, the next segment will be the economy. How convenient. Just as the economy's starting to come down a little bit, stock prices are starting to drop, companies are starting to lose a little bit of money. They want to talk about the economy. Again, nothing but couldas, wouldas, and shouldas from the Biden side. There's nothing that Biden can say that there's all kinds of things he can say that he would have done or would do or could do. but they can't be proven whether or not they will work because he hasn't done them. No doubt, the recent decline in the stock market and the economy, this has just been over the last few weeks, is going to be blamed on Trump. This is just another roasting opportunity. It just kind of makes me sick when you sit and you think about all these debate topics. And you really wonder, how could this be a fair debate topic between both of these men? I don't see how it can be. So, one thing that they probably won't address, or they're going to accuse Trump of lying about, is that the economy has been kick ass for the last 4 years up until just a few weeks ago. Obama himself was laughed at when Trump said, or was later laughed at when Trump said that he was going to create all these new jobs, and Obama said, what magic wand do you have? Well, guess what? Trump did just that. He's a master businessman. He ran this country like a business, and let's face it, in many aspects and in many senses, it is a business. And he made the country turn around and have hope of someday becoming profitable, like you would a business. The economy was booming. Stock prices reached record highs, not just record highs for Trump's term, but record highs in terms of the entire life of the stock market. I mean, for crying out loud, Amazon stock had boomed to over $3,000 a share, I believe it was. But they're not going to address these good things. They're going to make him look bad. This is just another opportunity. They're going to focus on the last 5-6 weeks of the economy. And let's face it, the rioting, looting, the burning of cities, that probably plays a bigger role in the crashing of our economy than COVID-19 does. It was immediately after the BLM and Antifa started attacking their own cities and destroying their own infrastructures and destroying their own communities and burning their own communities to the ground, that there were many businesses that said, we're packing up and leaving and we're not coming back. I mean, this literally and factually happened. There were businesses, not mom and pop stores, organizations, businesses that left these communities and said, we're not coming back. That's jobs gone, income gone from these communities. And this is happening in most major cities across the entire country right now. Of course, the economy is going to suffer. But it's the Democrats that are doing this. It's the Democrats that are out there destroying these cities. You don't see any Trump supporters out there burning down cities, throwing Molotov cocktails into police cars. It's the Democrats. Democrats, liberals, all of them are on the Biden side. None of them are Trump supporters. You know, there might be some that are self-proclaimed liberals, don't associate themselves with Democrats. But at the end of the day, they're voting blue, period, and that's what matters. The next topic for the debate that we're going to see tomorrow night, which I just discussed, is race and violence in our cities. So they're going to bring up racial topics again, which we already know they're going to be accusing Trump of being racist. We know this is going to come up. You could almost hold your breath and wait for it. It's going to happen. Some way, shape, or form, this Wallace character is going to find some way to paint a really bad picture of Trump without any evidence, without any proof, without any substantiated findings of any kind. They're going to make him out to be racist. They're going to blame the violence in the cities on him. Although it's not the Trump supporters doing it. They're going to blame the violence in the cities on him. He tries to send in the feds to stop this looting, these riots and the looting, and they badmouth him for that. It's mind-boggling insanity listening to these people. They sit here and ridicule Trump because all this violence and he's not doing anything. The minute he sends in the feds to stop the violence, now all of a sudden he's infringing on their rights. It just, I sometimes think that, and I don't mean just figuratively speaking, I sometimes think that this is all made up. I mean, I understand that the leftist media and the Democrats are saying these things. I mean, I get that the words are truly coming out of their mouths. But I can't, and guess don't want to believe, that they actually believe this bullshit that they're spewing. There's so many self-contradictions in their own words. It's hard to keep track of them all. Well, we're going to see a lot of it. And the last topic for the presidential debate, which happens here in a few hours, is another hot button topic for, you guessed it, President Trump. And that topic is going to be integrity of the election. We already know where this is going. Biden wants mail-in balloting. Trump doesn't. Republicans don't. Democrats do. Well, I can't show you pictures through a podcast, but through my Facebook account, way back when all this mail-in balloting stuff became an issue months ago, there were already people showing pictures of stacks of envelopes of error ballots being received to the same address. There were stacks. There were pictures showing stacks of envelopes that were coming to Republican households for, and these envelopes contained Democratic balloting. Yet they all want to accuse Trump of somehow cheating the election. Now, mind you, these are the same people who in 2016 cried for months saying that it's impossible to rig or cheat the United States election system. Democrats all said it. We all heard it. To this day, they deny saying it. But in 15 minutes' time, I could probably find you 100 videos on YouTube that prove it to be true. You've seen them. You heard it with your own ears. Seen it with your own eyes. They're going to undoubtedly ridicule what I'm predicting here in this last segment. And it's odd that it's their closing segment. It's kind of like a whole curtains to the show type thing. They're going to use this as an opportunity to poke fun of and make fun of Trump. Talking about his fear of the balloting, mail-in ballots and stuff and everything. And they might reach back and touch back on the whole COVID-19 thing about how there's people that are still afraid to go out in public and stuff, but which is nonsense in itself. But I think they're going to use that as an opportunity to take away some of his credibility, not necessarily to discredit him, but to make fun of him in their closing argument, even though it's supposed to be closing statements, closing debate, closing questions of the debate. If you read between the lines of this, I think you'll agree by the time this is all over with that it will more than anything be a closing argument from the Democratic side. If they can get people to make Trump look foolish by making fun of him in some way, and in this way to be with the balloting, they might grab some of those last minute undecided voters. And I really think that's where they're going to go with this, which is sickening. And yet they will ironically accuse Trump of trying to rig and cheat an election, when here they are manipulating an election. It's no different. In fact, it's kind of worse, because the Democrats are playing on the hope that some of the viewers are going to be stupid. You talk about being insulted. I mean, these people want your vote. And their whole strategy here is going to be the hope that you are stupid, that you can't think this out for yourself. Let that sink in for a minute. With just a few hours away, all of us are anxiously awaiting this. Regardless of how successful the Democrats are in making Trump look bad, or not, even if they're not, even if everything backfires on them, in many ways it's still going to be a bittersweet moment for the Republicans. Because I know we're all exhausted. I know you're exhausted. I know I'm exhausted. This has just been one extremely long, drawn out charade. It's like an insane circus act. I, for one, hope that the Dems can relax with their personal bias against Trump and allow a debate to unfold before the American people, which will clearly and effectively address the issues our nation is facing. Though it's unlikely that will happen, that's what I'm hoping we can expect this evening in the presidential debates. Americans are exhausted. 2020 has been unforgiving and unrelenting in every imaginable way. We want it to be over with. Americans want relief. We want the charades to stop. We want the false accusations to stop. And mind you, saw another news article I was reading when preparing for this podcast. The Democrats are already, once again, bringing Russian collusion into this new debate. They're not talking about the old Russian collusion, which was proven false, which cost American taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars for something that was never true to begin with, and they knew it. They're already bringing up that topic again, talking about how Russia's involved. I'll find a news clip on it and post it to our website. But Americans also want a clear and defined debate. We want a fair debate. We don't want this bias, this personal bias and personal hatred to leak into our debates. Maybe in the future we could see a panel of moderators and include a Republican and a Democrat, rather than it always just being a Democrat. That would be fair. It's a really good idea. Why hasn't anybody done this? Democrats want corruption. They want violence in the street. Kamala Harris's own words. And Republicans want the return of patriotism to America. And I don't know how that could possibly be a bad thing. Tune in with me this evening for the presidential debates 2020. And let's discuss these things. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts on what you think we can anticipate. And if there's anything that jumps out to you during this next debate that we're going to be watching this evening, drop those comments in here. Maybe I missed something. I'm going to be watching it tonight too. But maybe I'll miss something that you pick up on. I want to hear your thoughts. I'll try to reply to everybody as you leave comments. But let's tune in here and hope for the best, even though I really feel we're not going to get that. But let's tune in here and hope for the best. You've just listened to episode 6. I am Kevin McIntyre, your host of the Podfather Show.